Daily digital news. Bits and bytes connect our world.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have news coming right from the United Arab Emirates and how there is the first free online COVID rehab to help the long haulers. Now, a free COVID rehabilitation program which will help patients recover and even manage long-term effects was launched in the UAE just yesterday. And mashallah, I am very happy to see something like this because unfortunately, COVID-19 has a lot of long-term lasting effects. And some people, even 6 months after contracting COVID-19, they have lost sense of taste and smell until now.
You're definitely right about that, Hani, especially because the pandemic and this virus is still brand new and researchers are learning as they go. So to find out about the long-term effects of COVID-19, researchers do need to keep track of what every patient is experiencing. And just like you mentioned, some people continue to not have the sense of taste and smell for months after, recovering from COVID-19. Others still struggle with feeling like they're constantly short of breath. Maybe the back pain is still lingering. Others, like some of the most well-known personalities around the world, have actually said that they suffered from mental drawbacks of COVID-19, feeling like they're always cloudy and fuzzy, like they can't focus as well as they used to in the past. But this is exactly why the free rehab COVID program has been launched right here in the UAE, and this is going to be helping manage the long-term effects of COVID. It was actually introduced by an initiative of the United Nations Office for Disaster Risk Reduction in association with Ras Al Khaimah Hospital. And globally, around 30% of COVID-19 patients are currently experiencing long-term and debilitating after effects of the disease that is impacting how they're able to perform their day-to-day activities.
Yes, now symptoms have been reported to continue for 3 to 9 months. Now, patients who got severely sick or even have been hospitalized due to COVID-19 were found to be most prone to such effects. However, a few instances do show that asymptomatic patients are being affected as well. Now, the most common lingering symptoms include shortness of breath, chest pain, cough, or even abdominal pain. Now, through the program, COVID patients will instantly get an overall health prescription from a team of experts at the Arabian Wellness and Lifestyle Management and RAC Hospital's Wellness Division, and their symptoms will be assessed through a comprehensive questionnaire. Now, I know a lot of people until now, they are coughing very, very hard. They don't feel pain, but when they cough, it's like a horse cough. They call it a horse cough. You can kind of hear the mucus coming out of their lungs, and it's just horrible to see that. And I think the most one that is annoying to these patients is the loss of smell and taste.
Oh, tell me about it. I mean, a lot of my friends and family members who've lost taste and smell continue to say that it's one of the biggest things that they took for granted, that now they just pray to regain it once again. We do know that COVID-19 information is available online. However, it is scattered and it's fragmented. There's no specific one go-to source that you can go to find COVID-19 information in one place. But for the first time ever, this structured program that the UAE is offering will help COVID-19 patients log in and get solutions to most of their problems. And if there is no solution or a specific medication that could help lessen these symptoms, at least they can keep track of those symptoms so that researchers can go ahead and have a well-based database and data set to base their research off of.
Yes, now the program does begin as soon as a patient recovers, and they will actually have an online team comprising of physicians, nutritionists, and even yoga specialists, psychologists, physiotherapists, and even rehab experts. And they are going to try and customize solutions for the patients and help them recover faster. So we're looking at it, they're targeting the mental well-being and the physical well-being as well. And even we can even talk about spiritual well-being, as we do know that yoga does help with the spirit. But ladies and gentlemen, I want to know your guys' thoughts. 4215 Dur Salat or on Instagram at Pulse95 Radio. Are you still suffering if you had COVID, God forbid? Are you still suffering from it now? Do you still have some symptoms or not?
Yes, indeed. Let us know and join the conversation with us. Our text lines are open 4215 Dur Salat or slide into our DMs at Pulse95 Radio. Coming up, We're going all the way to outer space to talk about Emirati astronauts that are currently learning how to spacewalk by using a very interesting method.
Yes.
What is it and how is it going to be helping them and helping prepare them for the second National Astronaut Program? Keep Pulse 95 locked to find out all about it.
And if you ever wanted an island during COVID-19, you just want to go on an island and leave everyone away, well, we have the song for you. Find an Island by Beanie.
Daily digital news. Bits and bytes connect our world.
Any swimmer out there, any person who loves swimming would agree that the best part about this form of sport is the fact that you tend to feel weightless in water. And a giant swimming pool is actually the best place on earth to be able to simulate weightlessness. And who else needs to learn how to feel weightless and how to deal with that other than our very own Emirati astronauts right here in the UAE, because they're actually learning how to spacewalk in the world's largest indoor pool.
Yes, indeed. Now, Hazar Mansouri and Sultan Niadi are being trained for the long-haul space mission by the U.S. Space Agency, NASA. Now, Emirati astronauts have spent hours at the bottom of the world's largest indoor pool to actually learn how to perform spacewalks for future space missions. Now, we all know who Hazar Mansouri is, the first Emirati in space, and Sultan Niadi are receiving training at NASA's Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas. Now, new images have shown the pair wearing 130 kg extravehicular activity spacesuits while performing tasks underwater.
Yes, indeed. And this indoor swimming pool is actually located at the Neutral Buoyancy Lab, which is near the Space Center. The pool is 12 meters deep and it contains about 2.4 million liters of water. What's very interesting about it is that pools like this can actually help astronauts understand what it feels like to have microgravity, to simulate microgravity, and it allows them to work on a replica that is very similar to the International Space Station in the environment over there. But the only difference is that it's placed underwater. Both astronauts have been so excited to be able to try out such an experience and to be able to prepare for how physically demanding and how complex this training can be. So we do know that being in outer space, it is glamorous. It sounds glamorous, but to this glamour, there's a lot of sweat and tears. And one of them is preparing to deal with microgravity. So their training right now in this indoor pool lasts for up to 6 hours underwater so that they can learn how to spacewalk just like they would in the International Space Station.
Yes, astronauts can spend up to 10 hours a day at the bottom of the pool to practice maintenance work on the space station model and even refine spacewalk techniques. Now, NASA astronauts regularly do train at NBL. Now, most of them are required to carry out spacewalks outside of the International Space Station to conduct routine maintenance work and perform upgrades to the floating laboratory. However, this task is extremely dangerous. And just like Omnia said, it does require practice and skill and isn't just as glamorous as we think it is, going all the way up to space and looking at Mother Earth. Now, in 2013, Italian astronaut Luca Paramentino nearly drowned when water from his spacesuit leaked into his helmet during a spacewalk.
Yes, indeed. And if we rewind back in time as well, back in 2019, NASA astronaut Chris Cassidy's wrist mirror broke off and it released thousands of pieces of space junk, and that actually even impacted her own spacewalk. The Emirati astronauts training in the US will help them qualify for different NASA-led missions. They're also currently training in supersonic jets that have helped them experience the 7G force, which is yet another taxing thing and a taxing impact of being on space that tends to happen on their body. Al-Mansouri and Sultan Niadi have actually completed 6 months of their 36-month training program, and they will both start their training at the Johnson Space Center this year so that they can help prepare other astronauts for the upcoming second round of the National Astronaut Program.
Yes, indeed. We've seen the two also train in Russia quite some time ago, but we want to know your guys' thoughts. 4215 Durasat or on Instagram at Pulse95 Radio. What do you think about astronauts training underwater to get ready for some spacewalks? We're going to be taking a short break, but when we come back, have you ever had a Zoom meeting? You were just like, oh my God, I just want to be done with this. Well, we now have your escape pod to that.
Check this out. Check this out. Pulse 95.
You're in a Zoom meeting. You're tired of it. The guy's talking too much. Everyone is all over the place. You got a baby crying in the background. Your dog is barking. You're hungry. You got to go up and use the bathroom. But you just can't escape the Zoom call. And you have no valid reason to. Well, we do now have the solution to all your Zoom problems. And what is it called? It's called the Zoom Escaper. And how it lets you sabotage your own meetings with audio problems, crying babies, and much, much more.
I have a question for you, Hani. Did you ever fake bad connection to get out of a Zoom meeting? Honest moment here.
I used to do pranks on you all the time, if you remember.
Oh, yes.
It's all coming back to her.
Back. A year ago when we would actually be recording the show over Zoom. Lockdown memories. Lockdown PTSD, may I say. Hani would act like the connection is off. Go ahead, reenact it.
I'll reenact it. I mean, we'd be starting, like, hey, Omni, how is it? Hope everything is all right. Then she'd be like, yeah, you're ready to start. I'm like, what? I can't hear you. Yeah? She's like, is it my connection or is it your connection? I'm like, what? And she'd go crazy. And
I'd go for a while.
I'd make her reset her router, restart her computer, make a new call. Now I'm just like, hey, I'm just messing with you. Everything's okay.
Now you don't even need to use your vocal cords because the brand new free, may I say, it's a free web widget called the Zoom Escaper is coming in with fake audio effects to help you on your next Zoom call. If it's a Zoom call, especially when they're calls that could just be communicated in an email. Like, why are we getting on a call?
Yeah.
Can't we just do it in a meeting?
Before, the meme or the joke was, I can't believe you called me to this meeting. It could have been sent by an email. And now the thing is, I can't believe you called me on Zoom. This could have been sent by an email.
Exactly.
So it just looks like everyone doesn't want to interact with one another.
I feel like it's COVID impact.
It's COVID, and Omnia, believe it or not, one time I remember someone was talking about on the internet, Instagram. He was like, why do you want to talk to me about something? You should be even glad I'm here. So a lot of people are not happy with work. But ladies and gentlemen, let's get right back into it.
Yes, indeed. The Zoom Escaper is a free web widget that you can find online. All you'll need to do is go ahead and download the free bit of audio software that is associated with it. It's called the VB Audio. And what it does is give you barking dogs, construction noises, crying babies, or even subtle effects like the choppy audio that you just heard from Hani.
Yes.
We have a free widget right here
free
in the
voice
post.
box.
Basically, you can even get unwanted echoes that can be played on your device if you want something a little bit more realistic. And you just go ahead and download it. The minute you open up Zoom, you can go ahead and also run that Zoom Escaper widget with it, and you can hear the sound effects yourself. You play them whenever you need to, and bam, you're out of the meeting.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great app to get in.
Come on.
It's a great app. I was just making the noises. And we're looking at how a lot of people are doing a lot of things for Zoom to make it just much more funner, and not even funner, to make it more convenient to the person. We talked about
virtual backgrounds.
Virtual background, Snap Camera. If you love your filters on Snapchat, you can now have it on Zoom or any other platform. All you have to do is download Snap Camera, and you can have your favorite favorite filters on your face. And if you want to get out of a meeting, you have a crying baby, a dog, some wind, some echoes, that connection. So there's a lot of things you can get, and I love it. You know why? Because having all this customizable and freedom when it does come to Zoom calls, 100%. I like it.
Zoom has become our new meeting room, so it's nice to
I'm gonna use this when I'm talking to you, Omnia.
I'm gonna kill you.
I just have a dog.
Wow. None of these work for you except the choppy audio.
Yeah.
You don't have a crying baby.
I will now.
You don't have a choppy. You don't have a barking dog. Construction noises.
I'll get them all, Omnia. You just watch and see.
Oh my God. Let us know which of those effects would you use on your next Zoom meeting? The choppy audio, barking dogs, construction noises, or crying baby?
I think my favorite one is the robotic voice. It's like your battery is dying. But let us know your guys' thoughts. 4215. Do us on our Instagram at Pulse95 Radio.
Check this out. Check this out. Pulse 95.
This story is going to be a breakthrough in medicine if it becomes FDA approved and if it's actually proven to be as successful as it sounds. Because A Hong Kong scientist was able to develop a retinal scan tech that can identify early childhood autism. This will help, if it actually is confirmed that everything is set to go, it will help kids at risk get into treatment programs a lot sooner than they are, especially because we know that autism is actually, it's difficult to diagnose. There's so many factors. Not one form of autism is like the other.
Yes, autism mostly is discovered after the child grows a little bit to 5 to 6 years old, I do believe.
Yeah.
Now, a Hong Kong scientist has developed a method to use machine learning and AI to scan retinas of children as young as 6 to detect early autism or even the risk of autism, and hoping to develop a commercial product by this year. Now, retinal eye scanning can help improve early detection and treatment outcomes for children. Now, his method does use a higher resolution camera with new computer software which does analyze a combination of factors, including fiber layers and even blood vessels in the eye. The technology can be used to identify children at risk of autism and get them into a treatment program as soon as possible.
Now, the importance of being able to diagnose autism at an early age is the fact that children are still growing in that spectrum. They're still advancing and they're still developing. So there's a bigger chance for success of helping manage autism. There are clear signs of autism. The autism specialists have been slowly incorporating in their different findings. However, the biggest stigma and the biggest clear sign is the fact that a lot of the times parents of those patients are actually in denial. They'll see the signs, but they still refuse to have a confirmation of it all. They'll think that it's a subjective form of diagnosis, and that's exactly why using artificial intelligence and such as retinal scan, having this empirical data, something that is mathematical, will help confirm the diagnosis.
Yes, people lie, numbers don't, ladies and gentlemen. But as someone who has a very close member of the family being autistic, my cousin, he is autistic, and thankfully they detected it back when he was young, and he was being treated accordingly to his autism. Now, I see a lot of people, right? And I know someone personally as well. He discovered he was autistic at 26.
Oh, wow.
He had a form of autism at 26 or 27 years old, and his family never kind of treated him as an autistic person because they didn't know he was autistic, or just like Omnia mentioned, maybe they were in denial. And that caused a lot of problems in his life.
A lot of pain.
It caused a lot of problems in his life, and he wasn't treated according to being autistic. He kind of suffered some form of abuse because they just thought he was being a bad kid or he was being immature or irresponsible. But turns out this man, he's now a man, and this man just was autistic. He wasn't being treated accordingly, and the effects of autism worsened because obviously it does affect your brain, and he was being treated as a now look, there are normal human beings, but they have things different than us. They look at the world differently, and he was being treated like one of the other people, right? And he developed a lot of mental abuse, and in return, at this day and age, he's 26, 27 years old. He has a lot of problems. He can't hold a job. He can't do a lot of things. So when he wanted to know what's wrong with him, he probably thought he has ADHD because he can't focus. So he went and he got a mental health test, a questionnaire, and it turns out he has a form of autism. And now everything makes sense. So it's very important to detect autism in the early stages because you need to treat them as an autistic person.
And that's the thing, it's not a disability. It is a form of what they would refer to it as like a medical disability, but it's not disabling the person from being successful in his life or successful in a society.
100%.
But at the end of the day, not giving them that, leverage, not understanding that that the fact that they have autism means that they look at the world in a different lens, helps us treat them in a much better way, but it also helps them succeed in life because now they know that their condition is understood. They can succeed in that realm. They'll still give themselves some grace for not being as up to the level and up to the skill and up to the speed of other people.
Yeah, now just talking about they're not someone who's incapable, right?
Exactly.
My cousin, oh my God, he is the smartest kid I know. He's autistic, but people of autism excel in certain fields and they don't excel in certain fields. My cousin excels in computers. He is a whiz kid and he has a master's degree, by the way.
Wow.
right? He is a whiz kid, a master's in IT, computer engineering. He can take a computer, right, and build it from scratch and take it apart and rebuild it 5 more times. He codes beautiful programs. He lives in the United States. And I'm just so proud of him as someone who had so much in front of him as a person with autism. That's why right here in the UAE we call them people of determination, because they are determined to succumb and surpass all these obstacles in front of them. So that's why, and obviously we have 2 examples.
Yeah.
My cousin number 1 who was autistic and it was being treated as an autistic person, and the other person that I would not like to name, he wasn't treated as an autistic person and he is not succeeding because of the previous abuse, because his parents or his family thought, hey, this kid is just a bad kid. Exactly. We need to punish him. We need to hurt him. As in, you know, the Arab tradition of kind of making a kid obedient can be a physical hit and physical abuse, like a slap on the cheek, maybe some verbal abuse. And in return, this kid, who's now a man, who's 27 years old.
Self-confidence is just
Self-confidence is on the floor, cannot hold a job for more than 2 months, bad social skills. There's just so many things to name of. So this is a great design by this Hong Kong researcher or scientist who created this retinal scan to detect early stages of autism, because it is very important to detect these at an early stage so we can treat it accordingly.
And the thing is, you know, a diagnosis is not a cure, but a diagnosis can give a big peace of mind for any patient, especially when you're struggling and you don't know what it is that's causing it, what are the symptoms, what you should be on the lookout for. So such an invention will be helping save the lives of many people around the world and helping them excel. You know, a person with autism, just like we've mentioned, is not disabled, but it takes a special set of eyes to see what they are talented at. Share with us your stories. Have you met any person with autism who have stunned you by how...
And they're the sweetest people.
They are. And they definitely tell you pain will bring out the best part of humans sometimes. And they are some of the sweetest people that you'll ever meet.
Yeah, they don't have that malicious content. No. They're very innocent and warm-hearted.
And loving.
Loving as well. Let us know your guys' thoughts. But, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't drank water yet, this is your cue to drink some water. Stay hydrated. Yeah. It's summer. Water. I love water.
Pulse 95.
Apps all around.
What's worth a click and download?
Pulse 95.
I can vouch for this story because I cannot even explain to you how many times I have followed Google Maps' rules, laws, orders, instructions, you name it, and she has led me to the wrong place.
You're wrong.
I'm wrong?
You're wrong.
No, I'm not wrong.
Look.
What?
A rule of thumb, and something you should always live by.
Yeah.
You are not smarter than Google Maps. How many times you took...
You are not smart.
Yeah. Yeah. You are not smarter than Google Maps.
Took me a second.
No one is smarter than Google Maps. Do you know how many times...
What do you mean, Hani? What do you mean?
Okay,
how many
we're going to have a
times?
challenge, right?
Yes.
We're going to have a challenge.
Okay.
I want you to take a way to go somewhere, okay?
Okay.
And if it tells you 30 minutes and you see traffic, you're like, wait, I know a better way.
No.
And
you're right. You're right. No. Look. No. That's not what I mean.
Yeah.
With time management, I agree. Google Maps is definitely successful in that. But when it comes to leading you to a place, so I mean, let's say you type in Sahara Center, okay? With Sahara, it's accurate. Like I'm just giving that as an example. If I were to type out Sahara Center, Hani's not taking me seriously today.
Continue.
If I were to type out Sahara Center, it may not lead me to the right entrance of Sahara Center. I got mad because I remembered that happened with Sahara Center. I actually did type out one time Sahara Center from our studios right here. And I documented the whole journey on my Snapchat stories, and it led me to the middle of nowhere. I was in industrial roads. Why?
Because that's the way you go to Sahara, Umnia.
There is a much easier way to go to Sahara from.
Do you know the way?
Now, yes. Back then, no.
So
why would it lead me to the roads on industrial? Why would it lead me to go to Sahara through industrial streets when I could have simply gone not on rocky roads?
Because that's the quickest route, Umia.
I don't care. I don't care. Even this article agrees that now we can go ahead and draw our own ways to get
If there's
to a certain location.
If there's a missing road, you can draw.
If there's a missing road, and a lot of the times I agree that Google Maps does not know the right way to You need to get.
Google, listen, I've been.
No, I agree. In terms of time management, a lot of the times
in general, like I've tried to be smarter than Google Maps.
It never works.
It never works.
But look at me. You're being smart with Google.
Look at me. I am the captain now.
You're being smart with Google Maps, but you know the way. Let's say you're going to Dubai Mall.
Okay.
You know the entrance to Dubai Mall.
Yeah.
You know where to get through to it. Okay. If you were to type Google Maps, Dubai Mall in Google Maps, I bet you it will never lead you to the right entrance of Dubai Mall.
What is the right entrance to Dubai Mall?
There's an easy street. It will always lead you to, I don't know, what was it, Fashion Avenue?
Ladies and gentlemen.
Whatever.
I understand the point Omni is trying to make.
Yes.
Right? But I hope you guys understand it as well. I mean, but if you've been frustrated just like Omnia by a road and simply not existing on Google Maps,
okay,
it is now making it easier than ever to add it. Google will be updating its map editing experience to allow users to add missing roads and realign, rename, or delete incorrect ones. It calls the experience drawing, but it is closer to using the line tool in Microsoft Paint. Now, the updated tool should be rolling out over the coming months in more than 80 countries.
Yes, indeed. So if you try to add a missing road right now, you can only go ahead and add or drop a pin where the road should be. And you can type in the road's name and submit that information to Google. But the new tool that they're launching will literally allow you to draw a line, to draw a road wherever it is missing. So Google will also be vetting your corrections. So it's going to double check to see if you're accurate or not. And that is only to help improve the platform of Google Maps overall. The screen has also there's announcements that the screen will also be taking about 7 days for the company to go ahead and review your submissions.
So Omnia, a little birdie told me something.
What?
Right? Like, it just came to me right now. It came to me, came on the tip of my shoulder. So I have new information now that after lockdown, you used Google Maps to come to work, Omnia.
After lockdown.
So
I'm not the best with roads, I forgot.
So now who's the problem, Omnia? Is it Google Maps or is it Omnia?
Look, the only reason I actually use Google Maps...
You come to work every day, Omnia.
Yeah, but...
For the past 3 years.
We were in lockdown for 3 months and I missed a turn. So I was like... I might as well just use it.
All right. I stand corrected, ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen, you will be happy that Google Maps is adding this new feature onto it. I will be the first one to use it and add roads.
All right, guys, don't use Google Maps for a while as long as Oni is correcting the roads.
Oh, God.
You might just come here to Pulse 95 Radio. You don't know, but just know you guys' thoughts. 4215 Dora Tzlat or on Instagram at Pulse 95 Radio. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Omnia Saleh telling you how Google Maps... she's smarter than Google Maps, but she is not. And no one is smarter than Google Maps.
No one is smarter than Google
I've tried.
Maps.
My dad has tried. My dad's rule of thumb is you are never smarter than Google Maps. And we've tried to have smarter before. My dad and I teamed up and we lost. So, ladies and gentlemen, this does conclude Future Talk for today. It was a great show. Hope you guys did enjoy it. But there's always a bigger love. And that's John Legend. And my big love is for Google Maps.
If you liked this episode of Future Talk, drop a like and subscribe.
Pulse 95.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram for all our daily updates and top stories.